Have you guys made a decision yet?
I don't even know who this guy is. He just looked so comfortable, I wanted to try it out.
The Mattress Gallery at Crandall's Home Furnishings. The brands you're looking for at the price you want. In memory foam, pillow top, and more, Crandall's Home Furnishings. Always home to the ultimate value.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, Jim, let's talk right about 6A first, and let's go to the clip we have of the Daviess County, Muhlenberg County game. In 6A, we had a lot of playoff implications going into this weekend. Particularly, DC needed to win, and they needed Apollo to win to still be in the playoff hunt. Unfortunately for DC, neither one of those factors played out. Let's talk about Muhlenberg DC first. Muhlenberg 21-14 win in overtime. Neither team having a very good year, obviously, but it still surprised me. I thought DC would go down there and take care of business this week.
Yeah, I thought, I mentioned the revenge factor with regard to the Paducah, Tilghman, McLean County game, and I thought that would come into play here, even though it was on the road. But it just didn't work out for Daviess. And for the second consecutive year, Scott, the Panthers lost to the Mustangs. And Muhlenberg County, you got to give them a little bit of credit here. They've won 2 games in a row. They started the season 0-7. They've won 2 in a row, and they're ahead of Daviess County in the district. Neither one of them going to make the playoffs, but nonetheless, you've got to give them some credit because one of these teams was going to show enough to win this game, and Muhlenberg County did that.
Muhlenberg goes up 14-0 going into the fourth quarter. DC scores 2 touchdowns in the fourth, so they've got all the momentum going into overtime. DC wins the coin toss going into overtime and elects to put Muhlenberg on offense first. Branson Jordan catches a 7-yard TD pass, obviously ultimately proved to be the winning catch because on DC's possession, 4 plays from the 10, they're not able to get it done. Coach Marcus Campbell told me they did drop a pass in the end zone in overtime that would have tied it, and it's those kind of things that I mean, there's a reason you're 2-6 and 0-4 in district, and those are the things that happen.
Yeah, they've Daviess County. When you look at their season, they just haven't made enough plays. It all comes down to making plays. You've got to get the football in the end zone. You got to make plays, and Muhlenberg County made 1 more play than Daviess County in this game, and the result was a victory for the Mustangs.
Wanted to point something out there on the clip. Muhlenberg County wasn't trying to make any great fashion statement with the pink leggings. It was Breast Cancer Awareness Weekend. A lot of the schools had on pink wristbands or something to that effect. And it's a really nice gesture that the schools do.
Very nice gesture, very good cause. Yeah. No doubt about it.
The other 6A game, Apollo going down to Graves County. Again, this is a good game for a little while. Matter of fact, Apollo's up 14-3 at halftime. And then it just, the wall caves in on them. Apollo loses 37-21. Kind of indicative of Apollo's season a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just one of those years where Apollo has shown flashes of what I would call brilliance at times. I mean, they've looked really good in certain situations. And then you look up and they have a couple, I know they had a couple of interceptions here that were returned for touchdowns in the fourth. And it's that kind of thing that just shoots you down. And I mean, unfortunately, it dropped them to 2-6 on the year and 2-2 in the district. And they're going to be on the road. I guess that's right.
They're almost, I think there's some, real out there way that maybe they could end up the 3 seed or something. But most likely, they're the 4 seed. They're going to the opposite number 1.
That's right.
A huge task. Always.
No matter who.
4-1's a huge task
no matter
across
where.
the board.
That's right.
No question. I do want to mention Apollo did get the running game going a little bit, which is something that has shown improvement through the year. But they've got to just get everything going if they're going to do anything the rest of this way.
Yeah, they've been a team, Scott, that has never only on occasion have they had everything working together. And when they do, they're pretty good. But they've been inconsistent in this area one week and inconsistent in another area the next week, and it's just led to a continuity problem, I think, during the course of game management and things of that nature, and it's led to a 2-6 record for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing is I think we almost come into every week thinking, is this the week Apollo breaks out? And you get glimpses thinking that's going to happen, but then something just, goes awry and it doesn't happen.
That's right.
Let's talk about 5A. Big one was Owensboro going down to Hopkinsville. These are 2 traditional rivals.
True.
There's a long history between these 2 teams. So you say throw the record out to some extent, but I'm not sure I'm throwing the record out enough to understand how Owensboro only beat Hopkinsville 7-6 in this one.
You know, I mean, the main thing, and I want to make this point first, is that Owensboro won. And that's important. I'll tell you, that's
And we
important.
got to mention Cal.
Yeah, that's right. Cal's out. And,
Cal Prince, the quarterback.
And they went. They got the job done, and it's not fancy 7-6. It's not impressive 7-6, but they did do what they needed to do. Now the secondary question to this is, where is this team right now?
Right.
And because Hopkinsville is certainly not a heavyweight this year. This is
the team that Ohio County ended their 25-game losing streak against.
Correct.
This year.
And this is a football team that struggled mightily down the stretch,
Yes.
and then they wind up losing only by 1 point to Owensboro. So the question you've got to ask is, where do the Red Devils go from here? And it'll be interesting to find out. Their defense continues to play good. So it's worth mentioning
you gotta
that
give the
because
D
you've
credit.
got to give this team credit. And here's one thing I'll mention: even though they struggled in this game, obviously offensively, good defensive teams in the playoffs have a chance.
Yes.
And that still gives them a chance to be competitive against some teams some people may be writing them off against right now. So that's worth mentioning.
I understand that, but realistically, there's no way you can look at this offense and think this team has a chance against a Bowling Green or a Christian County.
Not this offense.
Right.
You know,
putting 7 up against Hopkinsville is not going to get you a win against
Now they
Bowling
put
Green or
49
Christian.
up against Apollo,
And
I know
that can be.
That's correct.
That can be.
Which team's going to show up? Which
Right.
offense is going to click? You know, I think that's the question out there for Owensboro, because I do think their defense is going to stay pretty static, pretty
Right.
stable, and is going to keep them in games. Now, will their offense come up to a point where they can compete against the upper level teams? We don't know,
Right.
because there's a
Right.
lot of questions here with Cal Prince not at the quarterback spot.
There's no question. You got you know, in all fairness to Owensboro, you have to mention, you know, Jacob Roberts steps in at quarterback midseason or late
couple weeks
midseason
ago,
for Cal Prince. So that's going to put any team,
Yeah.
you know, behind the proverbial, you know, 8 ball, so to
True.
speak. But, you know, still 7 points against Hopkinsville
tough.
gets your attention.
That's tough.
Madisonville-North Hopkins, Ohio County,
Mm-hmm.
49-9. North, no surprises there at all.
No, I think that the issue about this game is that Owensboro still has Madisonville to play.
Coming up Friday.
And I think that this would get my attention if I was in the Owensboro camp, because Madisonville, I honestly have felt in Western Kentucky, they're really one of the more underrated teams. This victory got them to 4-4, got them to 2-1 in the district. That's a big game coming up, and we'll talk more about that on Thursday.
Right.
But I'll tell you, don't count this team out yet. This team's pretty good. Maroons are pretty good.
You've been on this team now
I
for
have.
3 or 4 weeks.
Yep.
I think, was it the Christian County game when they played
Yeah.
Christian so tough? Is that where you thought they took a turn?
Yeah, you're talking about a 3-point margin at the Stadium of Champions.
Right.
And Christian County, I mean, it's
Number
Christian.
3 in 5A.
Absolutely. And I mean, any team that can hang with them has my attention.
Right. I think Christian shut Owensboro out at Rash.
Yeah.
Is that not correct? 21-0?
Yeah, that's right.
I believe that's correct. So they have proven they can play with the big dogs in 5A.
Just remember, dangerous game for Owensboro here. I mean, this is one they've got to be ready for, because Madisonville seems to be hitting their stride at the right time.
We'll talk more about it next week, but we need to note this game coming up Friday night is, you know, in essence a playoff game
is.
for a home playoff
This
game.
is for a home spot.
Whoever wins this game is going to get the number 2 seed and host, and that's a huge difference between hosting and going on the road.
Makes it a big game. Makes
You
it
know,
a huge
you know what
game.
it does? It's the difference, and I wouldn't want to be hosting Grayson County myself.
No.
It's the difference, though, between hosting Grayson
Yep.
or going to Warren Central.
Yep. Who handled Grayson pretty easily.
Yes, surprisingly easy.
that's right.
You do not want to be making that trip to Warren Central here in 3
No,
weeks.
no,
I'll tell
you
you
don't.
that. Well, we got a lot more about that game and the other games coming up Friday to talk about at 2 o'clock Thursday. We do appreciate you watching our show, and until Thursday, thanks for watching.